My name's Ashley Schafer, and today I want to talk a little bit about common rider mistakes and common mistakes that I see on the pattern a lot. I think that one thing is, I think sometimes we don't necessarily like to resume the responsibility. We want to say that our horse was cheating us or that our horse did that wrong, when so often I think it's what we told them to do with our body and our cues. And that's, I know I talk a lot about being specific with your cues and having your horse know them and you know them, and be specific with those. And I don't just mean hands and legs, I'm talking about body in general. Where we're looking and what we do with our body, every time we turn or look or whatever, our body moves and these horses can feel it. If they can feel a fly setting on them and shake their skin right there, they can feel us go up, do whatever we're doing. They're feeling all of that, okay? And me personally, I want to ride a horse that's really feely. I want them to be able to feel those things. So me as a rider, I'm going to have to be very specific with my cues and very sure of myself. So one common mistake that I see a lot, and I do it sometimes too. I mean, it's something that we do when we go fast. It's sometimes hard to be perfect, but something that I try to strive for is riding square to my spot. I feel like a lot of riders are really bad about when they drop to go to the horn, they go ahead and prepare themselves for that turn, and it's too early a lot of times. Most of the time we need to, when we sit and come to the turn, even if we go one-handed, we need to stay square with our hips and square with our body, okay? Because it's super important what our legs are telling them to do. Our legs are telling them a lot more than our hands are telling them, in my opinion. Especially for mine, because I train them that way. So it's really important for me that I am sure about where I want their front feet to get to, and I stay true with my body to that spot, okay? I can sit and ask my horse to rate to me, but I can't roll my hips. So that's something I find important, and that's something I see a lot of. Another thing I see a lot of is people looking down on the backside of their turns, okay? I see people that come in there and the horse is going over here, so they're like, hey, come here. Well, look where your body's at. Your hand's saying this, but your body's saying, go right here, get underneath me. Those horses are gonna go underneath wherever it is that we're out of position. So stay square in your saddle. Keep yourself right here, okay? Don't go, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes you get thrown into that position. These horses are big and strong and powerful, and sometimes we get thrown to that position. Sometimes we have to get in that position because we came into it too tight and we're like, oh, get skinny. Okay, so I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but as much as you can, try to stay with your good equitation. Try to keep yourself centered and square in that saddle, And then on the backside of your turns, I think it's really important to turn and look. If I'm sitting here and I'm going around my turn and I turn my body like this to look at the next barrel, look what my body does, okay? I'm just turning my head to look at the next barrel. And my body gets in perfect position for that horse to bring its front end across, okay? This thigh pushes in right here. This thigh opens up, which allows his front end to come across. My hips, everything says go that direction. My hand says go that direction. My head says go that direction. Everything about me is telling him that. Now, if he doesn't, then, sometimes they won't. But if we've taught them how to steer right and follow that nose around, they're probably going to follow that through because our body is telling them to do that in every way. So if I've rode square and I got my horse to clear the shoulder, and then on the back side of the turn, I turn my body like this, chances are I'm gonna have a really nice, sharp, and crisp turn, and then he's gonna square up and have that big, powerful move leaving his turn. So I'm gonna go through the pattern a little bit and kind of talk you through that a little bit more. So another thing, like when I trot the barrels, I post until I get up here to the barrel, and then I'm gonna sit the trot, okay? And the reason is because I'm gonna sit through my turn when I go to turn, okay? But even in my slow work like that, I want my horse to be, I want my cues to be the same as they will be when I go fast. So I'm gonna sit my trot around the barrel itself, and I'm still gonna turn and look when I get to the back side of it, just like I would. And you can see, as soon as I turned to look, he brought his front end across and finished his turn. He'll do it at the third too. I'm gonna sit where I want him to rate. I'm gonna stay seated through the turn, stay seated. And I have my eyes looking in front of me where I want his feet to go. And right here, I'm gonna go ahead and turn my body and look, because this is where I want him to go. And he goes ahead and squares up because my body told him to. My hands didn't do much at all, but my body squared up and he squared up with it. So now I'm gonna lope through, and what I want you guys to really pay attention to is what my body is doing and my hands, okay? So I keep everything pretty square. I have a little kind of imaginary box right here that I pretty well keep my hands in, okay? And I'm just asking this horse to almost feel like he's on a train track. Keep everything just moving fluent and forward and kind of between my hands and legs, okay? So what my body tells this horse is extremely important, okay? So I'm gonna lope through, I'll lope around each barrel a couple of times, and when I'm ready to leave, I'm gonna turn and look to the next barrel. My horses are they're so in tune to that cue that I have to be a little careful if I want him to just stay in a lope. Like if I really bring it, he's gonna go wham and really bring his front end, okay? I want him to be that responsive because when I go fast, I need that, okay? But in my slower work, you'll see it's very subtle because if I over exaggerate it, he's gonna really bring it and probably kick up leaving there because he's gonna be excited he made a big move, okay? So it's going to be subtle, but I will still turn my head and look. But when I'm first training my horses on the barrels, before they're very specific to that cue, I over exaggerate it a little bit more so that they're really getting in tune to that. But at this point, this horse is a 4-year-old, he's already running barrels, so he's very in tune to my cues, so I'll do it very subtly. But mostly I'm just wanting him to keep nice, smooth, fluent forward motion, but I'm being very specific with my body. So right here, I'm gonna look up. Like I said, I do it very slow because I don't want him to get in a hurry right there. Carlos. Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and lope and go again because I think he'll do it better if I don't stop.